I'm just getting the day started. Got back on my own line. I found all this fresh sign on. I have a tote back behind me, slap full of beaver traps. All my anchors, cable stakes. I got snares, 330 cone bears up in that tote in the front. I'm just going to spend the day in here setting just everything I can possibly find. See what we can catch. Hopefully it'll be a good day. I know I got enough gear with me to get the job done. I say that tote right there is one of them big ones, and it's slap full. So I'll see you down the line as I start getting the sets in. Set number 1 of the morning going in. I've already got the anchor, shallow water anchor up here next to the mound put in. A lot of fresh sign on it, and I'm just across the slough from that crossover where I had all those videos of the otter, beaver, raccoon, nutria. There's a lot of animals moving in here. I'm gonna be bedding TS-85. I've turned the pan tensions up on them, and let's see how this works. I'm gonna bed it right here with some of the Dobbin's backbreaker up in here on this mound. I'll get the set done and I'll take another look at it. That's what I've got right here on this stick. I've taken a good daub of the Dobbin's backbreaker, put it right there. On the trap, I have the TS-85 with the pan tension cranked up. I'm gonna put it right here, squish it down in the mud. It's still 3-4 inches deep. With the pan tension set up, with it squished down in the bed good, hopefully this will make a catch for me. I say instead of just running about 2.5 pounds of pan tension, now these are probably running 5. But I'll move out in deep water and set the anchor and keep moving. This one should hit. There's a lot of fresh sign in here. But right there's the set. Right here, I'm just putting in this caster mount. I've caught a bunch of beaver right here in the past, but I'm coming in just beside theirs and doctoring this one up. And I have got the TS-85 bedded right here, and a lot more solid and deeper, with about 5.5 pounds of pan tension. Put in a couple bump sticks underwater right up next to that mound, kind of pointing back at them, so when they bump that, they'll drop their feet. But right here on these 2 sticks, I've got a little bit of Halcyon lure, Halcyon Rager, and a little bit of Dobbin's backbreaker. We'll run this out in deep water and anchor it up. There's a lot of fresh sign, and I'm still crossovers that I'm fixing to go set are right across from me, where all the beaver and otter and everything else are coming out that ditch over that crossover. But this should work, hopefully. I'll get this set finished and keep moving. Normally I'm not a big snare guy. I'm learning as I go. But I've taken some tips on what Live More Outdoors did on his support wire for his foxes and coyotes. And I'm going to use that to support a snare right here in this crossover. I've taken, since beaver's so stout, I'm going to using a wolf fang, regular wolf fang, but I'm also using a shock spring, try to keep the beaver from pulling it out. They're strong. If I can't drown them, I'm at least gonna try to hold him up here solid. But I'm putting the cable right there on this end of the crossover. I'll show you the set when I get done. Right there's my snare set where they're coming up the crossover. Got my whammy hooked to the 11 gauge wire right here. Run to a earth anchor on cable over here to solid ground. Little leaves, little brush, fencing it in right here. It's almost 50% submerged. I tried to get it 50% submerged. That's what I'll have to do right here. But right here's my cable. Hopefully that'll work. I'm gonna gang set the snot out of this side of it too. See you in a minute. Well, I got my snare set right over there on that end of the crossover. The beaver, some of the beaver were coming over here, coming up beside this grass, coming in. Got another TS-85 right there. And I'm gonna bed on this end of the crossover. Run it out into deep water. Run this one out in the deep water. Got a snare on that end of the crossover. I'm gonna block that in with a 330, fence it down, and put another set or two between here and the main creek. This is where all the activity is coming from. Over in this beaver pond. It's just above the dam. But that you can't paddle a canoe in very well. And I can get them at the crossovers. I see there's a TS-85. TS-85 there. And a snare on that end of the crossover. Whew, let's see how this works. I'm pretty tickled with the way that turned out. I know that beaver's been coming up. That one right there that done been educated, he's been coming out right beside that grass. Most of them are coming up down this crossover. I got a TS-85 here, TS-85 right there, and right over the edge of that crossover into the beaver pond is a snare. I'm gonna see about fencing this off right in here. Try to put a 330 in it. We'll see in a minute. Whew. It's hard getting back in the boat in this knee-deep mud. But I got the snare coming in over here. 2 leg holes where the crossover comes in. Got the drowners rigged over in this channel. But I have done this. Put 2 330s side by side, fencing off the little cut through that goes to the crossover. It's just crazy enough it might work. 330 on each side, kind of a stick above it, kind of like a, I don't know what I was doing. I just wanted to try that. But that's crazy enough that just might work. The 2 330s side by side in that little cut. I'm gonna keep moving. This beaver's into car parts. He done drug some stuff in here, put it up on his mound. I had to set it after I seen that. But got the anchor in, fixing to bed the TS-85. But I have dug the bed out in the gravel right here. It's about little over palm deep right here where I've got the bed dug. Got a couple poke sticks right in here. The back breakers up on that yellow thing, that car part that Beaver done used in his caster mound. But I'll get the set finished, keep moving down. But he done drug all kinds of stuff in there. Well, I found this goofy little crossover. Comes right up through here. There's my H stand. And right there's a 330. But it's good enough for one set. They had a caster mound right beside it. I'm gonna dope his caster mound up and set that TS-85 right here in the bed that I've dug out. And I'll get this set moving, or done, and keep moving. There's going to be a caster mount set right next to the crossover and a 330 stuck in it. But we'll see if these hit, and we'll keep moving. I don't know if you can see this. Maybe you can in this little small screen. But there's a channel that comes up through here. It goes around through there, back up into the swamp. There is no silt between these patches of weeds. I am going to go see if I can't find a dive stick. Put a 330 in this run. Something's got to be traveling through here. They don't want to go through the grass and weeds. Don't want to go through the grass and weeds. This is an open channel. No silt on the bottom. Let me go find the dive stick. I got to do this. This might pick up an otter. Might pick up a beaver. Who knows? Maybe a nutria. I don't want a nutria, but this is a good looking channel right on the bottom. Right between the weeds. Let me go find a stick. Right here is my set. You can see there's no silt on the bottom. I stuck my H stand in it, using it to hold the dive stick. And put it like that. Anything coming through here should duck under that stick and hopefully down into that 330. I mean, there's no silt on the bottom. That should be a pretty good spot. And keep moving. I found another one of these spots. These beaver chews all over the place. Down on the bottom. Got a trail going up through there. Trail going up through here where they're cutting. Just a small rinky-dink caster mound. I'm going to find something to put right here. I don't know whether to put 2 or 1 and just put a good amount of caster on it to get their attention. There's 2 trails coming out right here. I kind of want to set this one. It's got the highest amount of matted down grass. Let me think about it a minute. If the bottom's hard, I may wind up putting 2 in. But we'll see in a minute. Let me think about it. I was wondering what I was going to do. I'm sitting here, I have a 330 right in front of this trail. Submerged, blended in, a little grass over the top. And right here on this trail, where they have a caster mound, I've taken some of the backbreaker, put it right in here, and got my TS-85 bedded right there, out about 6 inches deep. I'm kind of fenced it in by pulling up some grass to give them a bullseye right there to come check it out. I'm gonna set this anchor out in deep water, see if it does any good. I'll keep moving. I know I'm gonna have a little bit of difficulty anchoring the deep water in because it drops off so fast, but I'm gonna pull it out into the reed bed and anchor it the best I can. You find sign like this, you have to set it. They got a big mound, several big mounds over through here. Where I've dug the bed, where I've dug my bed out, right here, I'm taking the white sand off the bottom and making me a little caster mound just to tick them off. And I'm gonna bed a 850 Duke right here. It's about wrist deep in the water right there. So the chest shouldn't set it off, should be just a foot catch. I went deeper with my bed digging to try to avoid the chest bumps, and see if this works. I'll get the set finished, but I do have the anchor in, and I'm putting the Duke 850 in the bed. I'll get that done and keep moving down, but I'm gonna put a little backbreaker on that white sand. I'll keep moving down. I found this cool little spot where there's mounds all over the place in this little cubby hole. And the beavers have made a ditch going right up through here to it. And right here, I've hung a snare. I've used the Live More Outdoors trick with the 11 gauge wire, using the wolf fang driver to make me a snare support. Kind of fenced it in with some sticks and grass. And right there's the snare. Right in that little hole where they're all coming through, getting in here. I say I'm not proficient with snares. I am trying them. These were the snares that J-Dubs built last year for us, and I just wanted to give them a try. They are super fast firing. He loaded them before he sent them. It don't take much to make them fire. We'll see if this one works. I'm gonna keep moving. Here, I'm gonna be putting in a blind set. I got all these mounds coming around this edge. And the trail narrows down real narrow, right at the edge of my canoe. And right in here, I'm putting my Duke 850. This helicopter get by. Military chopper. But I'll get the 850 blind set right here where the trail is, where everything's coming around this bank. I got mound. But a blind set right here will catch everything coming through this, around this corner. Right here's where my blind set is, where it's real narrow right there, where the sticks and the other stuff kind of fence it. Anything coming up through here, checking all these mounds, it's going to be right across the top of that 850. I mean, there's a mound, 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 there's a mound. It's like that all around through here. But everything coming up through here is going to come up in here checking those mounds. And you can see that stick right in there. But right there's where my 850 is. It's kind of a pinch down. Anything coming around that corner is going to wind up in it. That's the idea. But I got it pulled out here in about 4.5 feet of water in the reed bed. Staked good. I'm gonna keep moving. I have paddled just across the creek. I'm pretty sure this is the same colony marking their turf on this side of the creek. But I was just over there where the mounds are everywhere. And I come in here and the mounds are everywhere. I'm gonna try a different lure over here on this side. This is about 4.5 inches deep right here where they've been pulling out, coming in. This was made last night. There's fresh mud on most of these. But on this one, I'm gonna try a little bit Blackie's tail slapper. I'm gonna put souse it up here. Have my TS85 bedded right here. And I'll show you that set when I get it done. Well, I've got that doped up, but I'm using the tail slapper. It's got a weird paste consistency to it. It's kind of like peanut butter. But they said it's waterproof, waterproof base. I got my 850 bedded right here. I'm gonna run the anchor out in deep water. But there's a fresh mound, there's a 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 mound. It's like that everywhere around here. Lots and lots of beaver, but they, you know, they got pretty good sized territories, but when you find the colony, they'll do these mounds like this. It's just stupid. It's just, they're everywhere. It's hard to know which ones to set, and even if you make your own, it don't stand out because there's mounds everywhere. I'll get this set finished and keep moving. When I've come in to set this one up, I caught a 70-pound female here 2 winters ago. Now they're using the same pad, same mound, same everything. Right up here you can see the lily pad root ball. They come up here and eat. It's kind of like a feed pad combination, scent mound, castor mound. Beaver come through here and spend a lot of time. I'm going to put my TS-85 right here. I've already got it anchored. And run my stake out in deep water. It's about 4.5 inches deep. Got TS-85 going in. But I'm going to finish this set and keep moving down. I am going to use a little bit of backbreaker up on it because this is the edge of another colony. And I'm fixing to get into the stick lodges and castor mounds that this colony is making. I say everything in here in these swamps got their own boundary, their own territorial edge, and they'll mark it with just stupid castor mounds everywhere. I'll get this set finished and keep moving. I'm down here at one of the beaver stick lodges. They've been pulling mud up here, and they've been pulling mud up over here at this trail. This one's too deep to set, and I've chosen to set this one right here. I have set it before, but they are dragging mud up here. I'll put my TS-85 right here, put a little foreign castor on it just to tick them off. See, they're making mounds above it, all up through there, mounds here. It's an active lodge, so I'll get this set finished. Put my TS-85 right here where I've dug a bed out. And just a little bit of foreign castor to get their curiosity and keep moving. See you down the next set. Just setting this up. What I have is a little cut through ditch. It goes back into another big pool out here in the swamp. But the beaver are using this ditch. I mean, you can see the castor mound straight across from me. Castor mound, castor mound, castor mound, castor mound, castor mound, castor mound. But I have my TS-85 bedded right there in about 4.5 inches of water, 5.5 pound pan tension. Right there, I've smeared some of that backbreaker right in that little depressed area is that TS-85 bedded. I'll run the stake out in deep water, keep moving. I'm going to poke around right here and find a place to put a castor mound. I have hit this lodge before, but they're still dragging a lot of fresh mud up on it. I see a place down here where they're making a castor mound. I'm going to go down there and doctor it up, see if I can't catch one of these. Not trying to hammer them too hard. I know it looks like it, but this place is slap full of beaver. I'll go down here and look at this castor mound area and see if I can put in a set. See you down there. Well, there's a spot where one of them black widow stands would come in handy because it is just too deep right where they're coming in and out. But they're here. I'll look around, see if I can't find a shallower spot to set it up. But I know they're hitting this one every day. Look how fresh it is. I'll poke around. These banks are pretty deep right off the edge. I'll keep moving. When I poked around, finally found a spot that I liked. It's upwind from that stick lodge that's just right there. not 65, 70 yards away. Place right here where they're coming up. They spend a lot of time here. Both nutria and beaver are using this mound right here. I'm gonna put a little bit of the backbreaker or the tail slapper up on it and bed me a 850 right here. It's a great looking spot. Perfect depth, about 4.5 inches deep. I'll get that set in and I'll turn it back on. Well, I had to get out. I had stuck my anchor down in a stump and I wasn't having that. I was gonna get out and get it back. But here's the finished set. Here's the anchor I got back in the mud. The Duke 850 is bedded right here. And the backbreaker and a little bit of tail slappers right here. See, I'm only about 70 yards from the stick lodge. Oh, I'm gonna start heading back towards the truck. I got one more trap. If I can find a place up on the main creek between here and there, that's super hot, fresh sand, I'll get it put in. I'm gonna get this anchor set in deep water and keep moving. Well, this is the last of the traps that I brought with me. I'm dug out the bed for the 850 right here. Put it back in the bed. Fresh caster mound. Fresh sign all over it. This is a big beaver line. If half this stuff catches, I'll need a bigger boat or make multiple trips. I'll get it lured up, get the anchor put out in deep water, and this is going to about conclude the rest of the day. There is no more traps to set, so I'm going to head back to the boat ramp, get out of here, and me and Judith will sit down a little while, get this cut up and put out on YouTube. But this is a big beaver line for me. See you later.